So everyone, if you have any homemade donut recipe, just throw it away because this one is just the perfect super soft donut. Keep watching ahead. So let us start with our ingredients here. I have some vanilla extract, milk, warm milk, eggs, butter, flour, all-purpose flour, yeast, salt, and some sugar. In my mixing bowl, I will add in that warm milk. Your milk is supposed to be warm to activate the yeast. And I'll add my sugar. Also, sugar activates yeast, or it speeds up the activity of the yeast. Then I will now mix everything with some vanilla extract. After that, I will now bring in my flour, salt, the eggs. You just have to, at this point, you're just combining everything and getting ready to mix. In my mixer, I will first combine with a slow speed. And when everything has combined, then I'll increase the speed so that it forms a stretchy dough. So right now I'll just add the speed, and this is how my dough is going to be looking. I'll just take it out from my mixer. Your dough is supposed to be like really stretchy and a little bit sticky, like not 100% sticky. I'm just going to show you my fingers how it's going to be, just something like that. And here it's looking so good. Look at that texture. That's how yours is supposed to look like. I will just cover it and let it rise for about 1 hour. After 1 hour, it's looking so beautiful. So I will transfer onto my working surface. I have my baking mat on here. I will just dust or spread on some flour on there. Transfer my dough. Divide according to the number of donuts I want. So for this recipe can give you about 8 to 12 donuts depending on the sizes you want. So right now I will just fold it inside like this so that it's going to be perfectly smooth and give me a beautiful round shape. Place on a parchment paper after shaping so that it is going to be easy frying and you will not alter the shape of the donuts. Let it rise for another 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes in my hot pot of oil, I'm just going to transfer my donuts in there. At this point, your oil is not supposed to be too hot. When your oil just starts getting warm, you can transfer your donuts inside. When you fry your donuts, your heat is supposed to be like low to avoid the donut from burning like too brownish the outside, while inside is still going to be raw. Flip the sides. So when you see that your donuts start forming that white ring line in the middle, it means you have achieved a perfect donut. You see that white ring line? That is how your donut should be. So now coat the donut with some powdered sugar. I'm not a lover of sugar that much, so I will just lightly coat it like this. But if you like more, you can coat it more with sugar. You see that? It's looking so beautiful. This is a no-fail. This recipe is super soft and it just melts in your mouth. Look at that. So guys, you have to copy this recipe and paste it somewhere. This is going to be the only no-fail twisted donut recipe you ever come across or try. Do not go away because it is a melt in your mouth recipe. In a mixing bowl, I will start off by adding some warm milk. If you don't have warm liquid milk, do not stress yourself. Use water. Water works just fine, okay? We're just adding my sugar right now. If you have a sweet tooth, you can add as much sugar as you want. And now my instant yeast comes in. I will go ahead to mix that until some of the sugar dissolves. Then the rest of the ingredients can come in later. When mixed, I'll go ahead and add in my vanilla extract. This is just for flavor. If you don't have it, you can skip, okay? We have some melted butter in here. The next to come in is one large egg at room temperature. When all this comes in, just mix until perfectly combined. Then the dry ingredients can come in after mixing. After mixing, I'll go ahead and add in my all-purpose flour. I'm using 3 cups of all-purpose flour here. My salt comes in. The salt is for it to taste. So guys, here's the thing. If you are going to be using unsalted butter, you can go ahead and use the salt. But if you are using salted butter, then you can skip the salt, okay? So yeah. So just mix everything until you have a perfect mixed dough. Right now, I will transfer my dough into a greased pan. The reason I'm using a greased pan is because I want to avoid my dough, like the surface of the dough, from drying out. You know, sometimes when you want to start kneading your dough after proofing, the surface just that is like it cracks up because it dries out. So just to avoid that, I'll just rub in some oil inside the pan, then rub some oil on top of the dough as well. Cover for about 1 hour, let it proof. After 1 hour, you see that it has doubled inside. You want to press that to release any bubbles in there. Then let us go ahead to make our beautiful twisted donut shapes, and we're gonna proof for the second time before we fry. Okay, I'm just pressing that out to release any extra air trapped in there. Then I will cut my dough according to the number of donuts I want. This 3 cups of flour is going to give you about 8 to 10 donuts depending on the size you cut your donuts, okay? But this one gave me 10 donuts. Yeah. So I'm just going to cut this. Then I'll go ahead and start shaping them. Just watch closely how I'm going to shape my donuts. After shaping your donuts, place them on a parchment paper so we can easily carry them, so we're not going to alter the shapes. Okay, so right now everything has been shaped. I'm just going to cover it again for about 30 minutes, let it proof the second time, and after that time let us go ahead to fry. At this point your oil is supposed to be warm, okay, at about 180 degrees, so it has to be warm. And when it's warm, go ahead and start frying. When your oil is too hot, trust me, you're not going to love your donuts. It's going to be raw in the inside and cooked in the outside. So your oil is just supposed to be warm. When it has that beautiful golden brown color, you can now flip the sides. You see that? So oh my goodness, the flavor is amazing, guys. This recipe is a no fail. You know I always bring you guys the best recipes ever, and I always have beautiful and positive feedbacks from all my recipes. I really appreciate it, guys. I really do. So now when it's ready, if you want the sugar coated one, go ahead and sugar coat immediately after frying so it coats perfectly. But if you don't want the extra sugar, you can skip this part. Okay, I just wanted to show it for those who love sugar or for those that have a sweet tooth. So now our donut has been perfectly made, guys. If you get to try this recipe, please come and leave me a comment, okay, and let me know how it turned out. But if you have any questions whatsoever, you can drop it in the description box and I'm going to reply ASAP. All right now I'm just going to open up, see how soft that is. It's going to be a melt in your mouth. It is flavorful, you name it, fully cooked to perfection. Guys, if you have kids, they are going to love this. My kids couldn't stop eating.
Cooking with Claudie. Cooking with.
To start off right here, we have all the ingredients that we will be needing. I have some sugar right here. And the next ingredients to follow, I will be using some salt, yeast, butter, milk, flour, and eggs, 2 large eggs. So for my flour here, I will be using 500 grams of flour. That's equivalent to 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay. So in my mixing bowl, I will add in my milk. My yeast comes in. My milk is warm milk, okay, to activate your yeast. I will just combine all the ingredients at once and go ahead and mix with my mixer. If you do not have a mixer, you can do this manually, but you have to mix it for at least 15 to 20 minutes until you have a good and stretchy dough. Keep watching ahead because I will be showing you the consistency of how your dough is supposed to look like. Guys, please check the description box because I drop a detailed recipe for you guys. Some of my videos, some people come and they're asking where can I have the recipe. Just look below the video and you're gonna see where it's written more. Click on more and a drop down list of ingredients is gonna show up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this until I have a good and stretchy dough. So at this point, this is how you want your dough to look like. This has been mixing for about 15 minutes. You want your dough to be a little bit stretchy and a little bit sticky. When it's a little bit sticky like this, it means your donut is going to come out fluffy and really soft. You can imagine how that is going to be. So now cover for about an hour or two, let it proof, and after about an hour, mine proofed for 1 hour 30, I will just transfer onto my working surface and let us start making those beautiful shapes. So now you want to press that to release all the gas or air bubbles, and you have to flour your surface to prevent the dough from sticking to it when you're shaping your flour. But before that, I will be using some parchment papers. That is where you're going to be placing your flower shaped donut. So now I'm just cutting according to the number of donuts. This recipe is going to give you about 10 to 12 donuts. Okay, mine gave me 12 donuts. So keep watching closely and watch how I will be shaping this beautiful flower shaped donuts.
Cooking with Claudie. Cooking with Clody, easy simple recipe. Cooking with Clody, cooking with Clody, easy simple recipe. African, Asian, American, and worldwide recipes, pastries and bakes. African, Asian, American, and worldwide recipes, pastries and bakes. Easy to follow from kids to adults. Ego yummy, yummy. Ego yummy, yummy. Easy to follow from kids to adults. Ego yummy, yummy. Ego yummy, yummy. Cooking with Clody, cooking with Clody, easy simple recipe. Cooking with Clody, cooking with Clody, easy simple recipe.
Also, to shape it, that's to create the center, you can also use a bottle. And after shaping all of the beautiful flowers, you can see that cover again and let it proof for about 30 to 45 minutes. And after about 40 minutes, mine proof for about 40 minutes, this is how it's looking. I will just go ahead and start deep frying. So guys, to deep fry, please, your oil is not supposed to be too hot. As soon as your oil is warm, you can go ahead and start frying. You see that? Your oil is not supposed to be 100% hot. Please, please, please. Yeah, like you're gonna have some burnt donut and it's gonna be raw in the inside. So fry that until it has a golden color on both sides. Also, you want to fry this on low heat, okay? Not on high or medium. After frying, you have the option to sugar coat it or you can leave it without the sugar. So I sugar coated mine immediately after frying when it's still hot so that the sugar can easily stick on it. And look how that is looking. It is so beautiful. This recipe is no fail, super soft. In fact, if you have kids, they are gonna love it. You saw when I was molding the flower, how my daughter was there. She loves donut. She was there from start to end until when I fried it. She could not wait to enjoy it. To start off with our ingredients, here we have some warm milk. I will add in some yeast to it, but guys, please check the description box because I'll put the exact measurements of everything. So put the yeast inside and mix. Guys, you always have to use warm milk because warm milk activates yeast. I will add in 1 egg into that mixture and mix until perfectly combined. For my dry ingredients here, I have some all-purpose flour, adding sugar and salt. Also for extra flavor, I will be using nutmeg also. But if you don't want to use nutmeg, you can skip and use vanilla extract. So mix the dry ingredients. The second thing you have to do is to combine both the dry and the wet ingredients together. So guys, in this recipe, like I said before, you don't need a mixer. You have to mix with your hands and it's not a difficult process. It's very easy. I just added in some melted butter. At this point, I will use a spoon to mix first. When it is combined, then I will transfer onto my working surface and start kneading until it forms a perfect dough. Onto my working surface, I will just sprinkle some flour on there, transfer my dough and start kneading. So guys, the texture here is supposed to be soft and slightly sticky so that you have a soft and a melt in your mouth donuts. Yeah, so keep mixing until perfectly combined. If yours is too sticky and it has a messy texture, you can sprinkle like 1 to 2 tablespoons of flour. But mind you, do not over sprinkle flour because it's going to form a very hard dough and you wouldn't like it after frying. So it has been perfectly combined now. In a bowl, I'll just add in or rub in some oil inside. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want my batter to be dry. When I put it, I will rub some oil on top of the dough, not batter, sorry, on top of the dough, so that it doesn't dry off. At this point, I will then cover and let it rest for 1 hour in a warm area. And after 1 hour, I'm gonna bring it back here. Look at that. Just press it down to release those air bubbles in there. Then still transfer onto the working surface. Then cut them into the number of donuts you want. Then let us start making our donuts. I will be showing you how to make the donuts without a donut cutter. So this recipe gave me about 12 donuts. Yeah, but if you want it a little bit larger, you can cut it just the way you want it. Don't, it doesn't matter as I cut it like this right now. Some were bigger and some were smaller, so I just adjusted while I was rolling. So roll it inwards so that it is perfectly smooth. Then you finally smoothen it on the working surface. Using a parchment paper, I'm just going to press it a little bit in the parchment paper, and I will use a wine cover or a wine lid that has like sharp edges. I will just press in the middle, just try to centralize it so you have a perfect hole and cut in the middle. You see that? You have a perfect donut shape. I told you, you don't need a cutter. Don't spend money buying a cutter. This method is very easy. You can also use like a piping nozzle. You can use that too. Just repeat the process for the rest of the donuts. And yeah, right now everything has been perfectly cut. And yeah, just cover again for about 30 minutes and let it proof. After 30 minutes, okay, we can start frying. So transfer into a pot of oil. Your oil is not supposed to be hot. As soon as the oil is warm, you can put in your donuts. You see that? That is how your donuts should be inside oil. You don't need bubbling oil. And after that, you can flip the sides. As soon as you flip the sides, when you start seeing the white ring forming around the donuts, it means your donuts has a perfect mixture. You see that? You have good donuts, just perfect. So guys, I hope you get to try this recipe, and you all know, if you've tried my previous recipes, you know there are no fail. And yeah, I've gotten many feedbacks from my video, and I appreciate all those that send me feedbacks for all my recipe video. And to meet again in my next video, bye for now, and keep trusting my recipes.